The Federal Communications Commission today voted to repeal what's called net neutrality rules. So what in the world is net neutrality and why are people so passionate about it? CNN's Lori Siegel explains.
What is net neutrality? It has nothing to do with a volleyball or a tennis court. The net refers to the internet, something that's become as necessary as water and power for most of us. The neutrality part is about keeping the net the way it is today. It's a set of rules that went into effect in 2015 to prevent speed traps on the information superhighway. In other words, speeding up access to some sites and slowing down access to others. Or blocking certain sites entirely. So, are these rules a bad thing? It depends on who you ask. The companies that deliver your internet like Comcast, Verizon, and AT&T have spent millions in lobbying money to get rid of net neutrality, arguing that having the government micromanage their business is not good for them or their consumers. On the other side are internet giants like Facebook and Google, streaming services like Netflix, and former President Obama. They all argue the internet is a public good and should be regulated like one. They also say that companies that own the pipelines could play favorites. For example, a content provider like Netflix is in direct competition with Comcast, which owns NBC Universal and controls access to the internet for over 20 million customers. You can imagine a scenario where NBC would want to speed up streams of its shows and slow down streams of its rival, Netflix. Now, Netflix can afford to pay for the fast lane. It's worth more than $70 billion. But the next Netflix, some awesome startup, can't.
Montana's congressional delegation pretty much split in their reaction to today's FCC ruling. Senior Senator Jon Tester says this ruling will harm small businesses. In a Facebook video today, he says big corporations will be the ones to benefit.
And when it comes to economic development, net neutrality allows small businesses to reach their customers online at the same speed as big corporations. Without those protections, rural businesses and entrepreneurs could be forced to pay huge corporate rates or be cut off from their customers altogether. That is why net neutrality is so important, because without it, we're at the whim of big corporations.
Meanwhile, over in the House, Congressman Gianforte, whose career was built on the development and ever-expanding internet, praises the FCC's action. Quote, 2 years ago, the Obama administration imposed regulations on the internet that were a solution looking for a problem that did not exist. Today's decision restores the open free internet, he says, that existed 2 years ago and continues consumer protections out of the Federal Trade Commission.